So I'm in the middle of editing this video, and if you disagree, let me know. I'm coming from a background of, I'm a mechanic, I work on trucks, I rebuild engines, I put myself through college rebuilding Subarus, doing head gaskets. I've always loved the Defender. I grew up in the States, I was born in Brazil, and over there they have the Bandeirantes, which is the FJ diesel, and the Defenders. And so ever since every time I went back on vacation or to visit family, I'd see them and I'm like, I got to get one of these up here. So that's how I got these ones. I imported them. I could talk about that later. But if you disagree, let me know. But if you agree, or if I make some good points, or if I miss some stuff, I would appreciate you letting me know. That'd be interesting. I drew up like a whole, document explaining what makes it like such a great vehicle. And it does have its faults, of course. But I think in the end, it is, one of the best, apocalypse vehicles. Do me a favor though. Like, comment, subscribe. It's a tiny channel, and it would be much appreciated. All right. See the Defender right there, the Lego, and I've also got the big one right there, and I've got the little one right there. I got way too many Legos, and I've got some of the boxes back there that I need to rebuild, or I want to build. Anyway, enjoy the video. It's one of the last gaskets I got to do right here. Oh, what's that? We are trying to reach out about your car's extended warranty. No way, they get you everywhere. So I just wanted to explain really quickly, just a couple things. I don't know, the video's about to start, and I just wanted to, hit on some bullet points as to why I think the Defender 300 TDI manual transmission is the ultimate apocalypse vehicle. And number one, it's a diesel, meaning that it'll run fuel that lasts a lot longer. It doesn't go bad that quickly, years. It's a mechanical diesel, meaning that the injection system on it is mechanical, meaning that there's no wiring, there's no circuits that are going to fry. And because it's a mechanical diesel, it's a lot more forgiving with the types of fuels, meaning that you could run automatic transmission fluid if you need, or you could run cooking oil, or whatever that's got like a relatively a little more viscous of an oil. It'll get you there. So that's the number one reason. Number two, it's got a manual transmission. So the manual transmission, the R380, means that you can park it on a hill, put it in second, and roll down a little bit, and it'll bump start. So in an emergency, 12-volt battery is out, or you don't have access to electricity, it'll run. It'll get you there. Okay, you can bump start it. Just park it on a hill. The transfer case is incredible because you can have access to low gearing, and you can there's a plate where you are able, and I'll explain it a little bit later in just a sec. You can use the transfer case to be able to access and make an adapter to run a whole bunch of different accessories. Those are the main reasons. It's four-wheel drive, solid front axle, springs or coils instead of leaf springs, all four disc brakes, and it's got an awesome diesel engine, manual transmission, and for a relatively modern vehicle, it's got a ton of old school, reliable parts to it, and that's what makes it around the world known as such a great vehicle and used in so many different applications. Just want to give you a heads up and a precursor to what I'm about to say. So check this out. I did not know this. So I've got this snap-on little torch guy, right? Cool little torch. And I thought most snap-on tools were made in the US, you know. But this guy right here, I don't know if you can see it, but it says made in Ireland. How awesome is that? And then it says Dianta in Irene, which I'm pretty sure is Gaelic. But that is pretty dope. I'm all for American-made tools, but if it's going to be made anywhere else, Ireland isn't bad. So that's pretty sweet. Kind of excited about that. Anyway. All right, so I want to take a minute and talk about why I think the Land Rover Defender 300 TDI is the ultimate apocalypse vehicle. Controversial, but I am a mechanic. I do work on trucks. And I've worked on a lot, and I think that I'm going to put some reasons out there, and you'll see. I believe it is, and I'm going to make at least a case for it, and I'm sure maybe some people will think otherwise or, agree. Let's check it out. Firstly, the 300 TDI engine is, I think, it's great for a few reasons. It's above all, though, it's very the best way to explain it is that it's very simple and there's no electronics to it, or very, very little. There's no electronics and there's very little use of electricity. Okay, let's take a look here. Let me show you. This is one that I'm rebuilding. Okay, this is it's painted, it's fixed up, I built it up from the ground up, from a working truck. This one came from the UK, from a Defender 90 300 TDI. I'm putting it into my 130, same engine. But first of all, diesel engine, injectors are not controlled electronically. They're not controlled electronically. They basically run. They basically have a set pressure to release or to send fuel when it reaches a certain pressure. Now you'll notice this is the injection pump. Now this is a very simple Bosch system, okay? And you'll notice one interesting thing. There's no computer. There's no electronics to this at all. It runs off of the timing, okay? And this right here is the only thing that a 12 volt connects to, and that is the plunger to turn it off. So you really don't need it. There are many ways to turn off, a truck if you need, especially when it's idling. You just put it into first gear, drop it, and then it'll just, choke itself. It's a very, very simple engine. It runs very reliably, and there's just very little to go wrong with, a mechanically injected, simple 4-cylinder, very efficient engine. Okay. Glow plugs is something that you'll need in cold weather only, but they're there. And so if you don't have a 12 volt system and you can't heat up the glow plugs, let's just hope that you're in a warm climate or warm area, or you'll need externally, you could have like a 12 volt battery pack connected to those guys, connect them, warm it up enough, and then get it going, I haven't rebuilt this yet, but this is the awesome R380 5-speed manual gearbox / transmission. And look at that. You got a nice manual system, 5-speed. It'll get you going quick if you need to. And that'll get rebuilt pretty soon. And I'm halfway, or almost finished, rebuilding the L277, I think, or R277. Let's see here. LT230, my bad. So that's the transfer case, okay? Now this transfer case is also very, very simple. It's got the front that goes to the front differential. This goes to the rear differential. But before the rear differential gets connected, that looks like a drum brake, but it's not. That's the emergency brake. So when you pull the emergency brake, it doesn't lock up the wheels themselves by, you know, pinching the wheels off. It actually locks up the differential. And in an emergency, having that be closer to the, you know, push-pull lever and also locking up all four wheels means that you have a completely independent system to make your car, to keep your truck from running or to keep your truck from moving. Lock it up. Let's say you're in a slippery surface, or you know, you only got one or two wheels on the ground and there's something kind of up there. You can pull that brake and it'll lock up the entire system. Another cool thing, this right here, you remove this plate and that is a whole new access to you know, use the engine's energy to run a pump, to run a generator, to run a hydraulic system. You know, in other countries, these Land Rovers are used, you know, in the fire brigade, or so they'll connect to, you know, a water hose pump system to, you know, irrigate, or to, you know, for fire emergencies and those sorts of things. So that is an incredible system, but above all, extremely simple. You know, it runs, you know, very easily. This is the neutral switch. Not necessary. None of this is necessary. You want to see the wiring on this truck? This is it. That's basically the main wiring, and most of these are to a temperature sensor, let's see, like a neutral switch or reverse switch. So unnecessary things. The truck does not need much to move. And there's no computer systems. There's no microchips. That's what you want in an emergency vehicle. Okay? Let me open up the garage. So, what you want, okay, is something that will run in a pinch. What happens when things go wrong? What happens when you need to get out of there, okay? You need something that's gonna have, you know, access to fuel that's not gonna rot out, and it's not as volatile as, you know, gasoline or propane that has to be, you know, compressed. You also want something that's four-wheel drive. It's gonna get you, you know, off-road, or maybe there isn't a road. Another thing that you need is to have fuel that lasts longer, you know, than just a little while. So you need like something like a diesel. You also want to be able to get it started without a 12-volt system. So you want like a car that you can park on a hill and get it running, or a truck. So you need a diesel that's a manual transmission, okay, that's four-wheel drive, that doesn't have any electronics, okay? That's, to me, what makes an apocalypse vehicle, a vehicle that will get you where you need to go in an emergency. Now, to me, the Land Rover Defender is what makes the Land Rover Defender such an incredible vehicle, okay? Let's start off with the 130 or the 110, okay? This is the wagon version 110. I've got a tent on top, okay? I also have solar panel, okay? The roof tilts up right here, so you can actually stand up and you can actually have, you know, water system, and be able to, you know, basically live back there. I've modified it slightly to, so you can actually have, obviously the driver's seat, passenger, you can have somebody sit right here if needed, okay? So that's 3 in the front, 1, 2, 3 in the middle row. You have 1, 2, 3 on one side, 1, 2, 3 on the other side. You can have 12 people in this little truck. How amazing is that? Now the wheelbase is a 110, is 110 inches about. Another interesting thing, solid rear axle, pretty common on trucks. Look at that.
you've got disc brakes in the rear, and you have springs, okay, on all 4 wheels.
What do you also have?
A solid front axle. And it's extreme for being a truck that's relatively new. These are rare things. And then right here you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the drum that connects to the axle. That locks that up. Okay.
Those are the things that you want to see in an emergency vehicle, you know, or in a vehicle that's like post-apocalyptic. This right here is the Defender with the 110 pickup truck version. Okay, it's pretty cool. It's a relatively small truck, but you can get, you know, what you need back here. Have access, you know, to the basics and get out of Dodge. This truck is basically all you need. If you need to carry a lot of people, you get the wagon version. Now my favorite one here, and this is kind of my daily driver, is the Defender 130. So it's got the same, you know, things as the Defender 110 wagon and the truck, but the 130 kind of has the benefit of having 4 doors. You can fit 6 people, okay, and you have a truck bed in the back. You're able to fit, this is a jump seat, came from a Ford pickup truck, but they have the jump seats, the center seat for the Defenders normally too. I just kind of modified that in order to get a diesel heater connected back here or under there. This came modified for, this is actually a dishwasher parts that I modified in order to make this work. But I mean, in an emergency, this is just ancillary stuff. But you know, what's important is that you got a manual transmission. It's a diesel engine that's got no electronics, and it's got an injection pump that's mechanical. Okay, you got your tent on top. You can fit what you need up here. You've got your, you know, your spare tire if needed, and you know, you can tow what you need. But this truck right here is, you know, kind of what I think is kind of the blueprint of a real emergency vehicle in kind of a post-apocalyptic situation. So the Defender, the Defender 300 TDI, okay, is to me the ultimate apocalypse vehicle. If there isn't one, or you don't have access to one, they're not very common, I know. But I'm just saying that if you were going to be looking for one, or if there's some sort of vehicle that you wanted to, you know, be a vehicle that will get you somewhere in an emergency, look for a 4-wheel drive, look for a diesel, look for a manual transmission, and avoid electronics. If you can tick all those boxes, you're good to go. In other countries, Toyota Hilux, you know, Bandeirantes in Brazil. I know there's some Mitsubishis that do that. That's kind of what I know in like the European market and the South American market. Like this Jeep Liberty diesel, yeah, it's a cool truck, but it's an automatic transmission. Okay, you can't get it running without a 12-volt battery. It's also got tons of electronics in there, meaning that if there's like an EMP blast, you can't really do anything about it. It's got electronics or the injection system is electronic, and it's not very forgiving when it comes to alternative fuels in a pinch. The Defender, you could, I mean, if the weather is good, meaning that it's warmer than you know, freezing, you could put vegetable oil in there, you can put automatic transmission fluid, you can put whatever you need in there, and it'll get you running. It's not going to be excited about it, but it'll run. Another cool little car is something like a little Subaru Justy, completely mechanical. Love these little guys, extremely good gas mileage. I actually bought this car. I sold it forever ago, and then I saw it for sale locally, and I bought it back. Now, the problem with this, there's only one main problem, is that it's gas. It's a gasoline engine.
So so this will run. It'll be a good car in emergency while they're still producing gasoline. But after, you know, a couple years, unfortunately, you know, the gasoline will turn into basically a shellac or a gel. It's just not going to be, you know, a useful fuel. Every vehicle after, you know, a year or two, if they stop producing gasoline, will basically be non-running, because the electronics will be shot, batteries will be dead, and the fuel will have evaporated or will have turned to shellac. Whereas diesel will last many, many years. You can use alternative fuels like vegetable oil or automatic transmission fluid. You don't need a battery, park it on a hill, and this thing is off-road. Now, that to me is a good reason, and to me, why the Land Rover Defender is not only, you know, a trendy vehicle, because I know it is, but to me, as a mechanic, what makes it, you know, the ultimate apocalypse vehicle. Anyway, hope you liked the video. Next time.